Hey folks, how's everybody? Today we are going to do some hedges, and we're going to trim up some other landscape around the house, and we'll take a little walk and we'll show you like what we have. We're going to start over here. These we're just going to touch up and clean. We got some crazy weeds growing over here. We got some weeds growing in here. We'll leave the flowers until later, until they're done blooming. They're almost done blooming. Then we got some crazy roses growing out of this landscape bed here. We got a tree taking over the front door. We're gonna clean all this stuff here in this bed. Maybe we'll even put a new edge on here. It's all just getting out of control a little bit, so we're gonna clean it up, separate it. This is a really cool tree. It is just in a bad spot because, like I said in some of my other videos, you don't want any of the stuff around the house touching the house. So we're unfortunately gonna have to trim some of this up and get it off. We like to keep it flowing like the umbrella shape kind of thing, but I don't know what we're gonna be able to do with that. And then over here, we're going to clean these hedges up because they are the customer wants to keep them. I know they're like from 1970 or something like that, but we're gonna clean them up and go around the inside there and make sure they're off. And then it looks like we got some crazy vines growing over here. What is up with that? Look at that. So we're gonna obviously have to rip those out because those will take over the hedges and they'll choke them out and they'll just get ugly. And then last part we're gonna do over here is we have this section over here, which I believe was here before they put the air conditioning unit, and then they added the air conditioning unit. So the problem they have here is those vines are growing everywhere, so we're gonna clean up some of these shrubs. And I think what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to remove some of these grasses, because what's going on here is it's actually growing into the air conditioning unit, which is really bad because then it's going to choke it, it's going to get in there, and you definitely don't want that to happen. So we're going to do a quick little cleanup. We'll show you the steps and what we use and how we use it, and that's where we're going. Thanks. So here's what we're going to use today. Tools, we're going to use the steel weed whacker, line trimmer, I don't know what the thing is. We use the 94R dedicated trimmer, great machine. And then I have the smaller HS45 hedge trimmer, nice machine. It's light, it's got a lot of power, works really good. And then probably one of the best tools is the combo tool. This is the 131 head on it. It's a really nice, versatile tool. You can change attachments here, so you can run hedge trimmer, we have the chainsaw edge, we have the brush cutter goes on there, edger, bed redefiner, a couple different things. But these are usually what I do for pretty much every hedge job. So I'm going to start with the small one, and we're going to start cleaning up some hedges, and we'll show you from there. Thanks.
do again.
Start over. Okay, so we're working our way from the driveway this way. Like I said, we're trying to keep this tree in an umbrella shape so it doesn't look awkward, but we have to get it off of the house. So we'll put the chainsaw extension on and we'll take some of the bigger branches up there to kind of shape it out. That's going to take a little bit longer, but we'll come back to that. But now we're going to do these hedges here. So yes, there are certain times of the year that are better to cut hedges, and different trees bloom at different times. And what's the best time of year? Oh, I think it's when the customer pays you. Yeah, no, that time of year. Anyway, I'm joking. So yeah, we did have to sacrifice a couple of rosebuds. Sorry about that, but it had to be done. They're pretty resilient, so they'll come back. But so what I'm going to do here is I always start out with a pole trimmer here, and I start from the bottoms and I cut all the sides first. That's how I do it. I'll show you real quick when we start, and then I go to the top and smooth everything out. That's how I do it, and it works really well for me that way. So if you're wondering, do I start on the top or the side, I'll show you in a minute when I start how I'm going to do it. All right. Okay, so now you're saying maybe he's cutting that down too deep, but the reason I'm doing that is because the farther you let these grow out, then the chances of going back and cutting them down later is really slim to none. So yeah, it will look a little bit like I took them down maybe too far. I'm doing that on purpose because last year they were probably over here, and now they're over here, and next year they'll be over here. And then at that point, you end up having to just take them out totally. So we are trying to cut back a little as we're cutting. Okay. Okay, so we use the extension trimmer first. It's easier, it has a lot more reach. It's also a lot heavier than the small trimmer, but I'll take the small trimmer now and I'll go back through everything that I cut and I'll just shape it a little neater. And like on these particular shrubs here, I'll do the edges and the corners. I'll touch up little pieces on the bottom, kind of like a finishing cut with these. So that's what we're going to do next. Thanks. Okay, so We ended up taking out these ornamental grasses because, like I said, they had them one here and here. We're actually gonna grind those out because they just can't be that close to the AC unit. And as you can see, these thorny little things have grown into the AC unit, and that's bad because there's actually like a radiator almost similar to your car on the inside of this, and it's very fragile, and it sucks the air in here and blows it up here, and that's how your air conditioner keeps cool. So you can't and you don't want to have any of these types of things growing in or around your AC unit. This is a brand new unit, so it's not even dirty, and in the back, oh, I think we have a friend back here. We have a praying mantis. Look at that. He's just hanging out watching what's going on, but as you can see, more of these, look at these, look at how much of the, like that's all inside the unit, you know? So if you do have this is something you can visually just look at yourself and see. If you have any kind of greenage or vine or anything like that growing, you definitely want to get it out and keep this whole area as clean as possible. Okay, so now we're gonna probably get the stump grinder and we're gonna take these grasses out, and then we'll weed whack around this area to make sure that there's no other vines going in. The Pachysandra is okay, but all these other kinds of vines, like, they just have to go. So that's where we're at. Thanks. Hey there. Okay, so we've gone around and cleaned up around the machine pretty good. So we'll blow that off and make sure that there's no vines left going in there, and that'll be all set. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take out these ornamental grasses, and there's some random stumps in here, maybe from hedges that were here in the past. There's like one stump here, there's a stump there. So we're gonna take those out. I think there's a stump over there on the end too. So we're gonna take those out. You can dig these out with a shovel, but these aren't the biggest. There's a lot bigger ornamentals. I don't know the exact name of the grasses, but these are really tough and they're rooted in there pretty good. I just so happen to have this little cool stump grinder, and it works really well on the grasses and on these little hedge stumps. So we're gonna fire this up and we're gonna rip some of these out. Check it out. Okay. Okay, so we're just about finishing up here. We have everything kind of toned down. We got it shaped up a little. We didn't take the hedges out. And next we're gonna run the vacuum machine, which is always my favorite part around here. And we're gonna vacuum all this stuff because here at Kelly's Lawn Service, we don't particularly like using tarps. I don't know why. I just don't like using tarps. Feels like work, I guess. So anyway, we're gonna go through here. We trimmed up this tree here to try to give it back its umbrella kind of shape. It was really out of control. So I think by next year, it'll start hanging the way it's supposed to. I think this side looks pretty good over here. This is the outer side of the landscape where it's hanging down pretty good. It's kind of shaping up. We got these hedges cleaned up, about the best that they're gonna look anyway. I particularly don't like any kind of hedges or greenery that cover the windows, especially on the front of the house. So like for me, that's a no-no. I wouldn't have that like that, but we have to do what the customer wants, not necessarily what we want to do. And then over here, same thing. We're gonna run the machine. We got this area cleaned out. And once we vacuum up, clean up, we'll go by and we'll show you a final look at what it looks like. Thanks. Okay, so this is the extent of our cleanup here. We'll kind of walk through a little bit, show you what we did. I told you we took out all these extra stumps in here. We removed all the grasses. So the condenser it's clean, it's free of debris. There's no vines in it. We went all the way around, kind of cleaned it up pretty good in there. So I should probably take a hose and clean that off, but that wasn't in our deal. So we're not gonna do that. And here's the rest of it. We trimmed everything up pretty good. We have nice space between the house and the hedges, like I had mentioned in one of my other videos. I'll put in the end screen. You should always have like a 2 to 3 foot area between your house and any kind of growth, because it just keeps the mold off the house, keeps the bugs, rodents, things away. So this kind of an idea right here, this is a good thing to have if you have these type of like larger hedges in front of your house. So we got them all shaped up kind of nice, the way the customer wants it. And we got this tree looking pretty good. I think it's starting to look like an umbrella shape. Like I said earlier, it'll take some time, but it'll get there. We got everything else trimmed up here. These all look nice and shaped up. We shaped up the red maple there, so it's off of the other ones. We did cut the rhododendron, which I think it's August 1st right now. So usually you want to cut your rhododendron right after it blooms. And in this part of the country, in the Northeast, it's usually, late May is kind of when they bloom. And that's when you want to trim them, because then they'll make their buds from then until next year. And it takes about a year for them to make their buds. And you don't want to cut them late in the season like we did with this one, but that's what the customer wanted, so we did it. Because you'll cut the buds off and then you won't get the flowers for the next season. Doesn't kill the tree or anything, but it doesn't help it grow. And then, last but not least, we got these little bubbles cleaned up here, and that's it. And okay. And again, thank you guys so much for watching these videos. And if you do like this kind of content, please hit the like and subscribe button, because we really appreciate that. So thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye, guys.